Something about this season just shifted, and I don't think most people caught it. Because on paper, what happened last Sunday at Texas Motor Speedway looks completely forgettable. 17th place, no lead laps, no highlight reel moments. The kind of finish you scroll right past in the results column without thinking twice. But here's why I can't stop thinking about it. That finish might end up mattering more than any road course win this driver has ever had. And that's where this gets interesting, because we're talking about a guy who walked into the Cup Series and won his literal first race, a guy who rattled off 5 consecutive road course victories and almost tied Jeff Gordon's all-time record, a guy who has dominated so thoroughly on right-hand turns that the rest of the field basically concedes every road course before the green flag drops. And yet right now, he's sitting 19th in points and staring up at a playoff cut line that does not care about your road course resume. And what's coming this Sunday might be his best chance to claw back in, but even that carries a wrinkle nobody's talking about. So yeah, we got to talk about Shane van Gisbergen, because the conversation around SVG just changed. And it didn't change because of something spectacular. It changed because of something ordinary. If you're a real NASCAR fan who wants honest conversation about this sport, the kind that actually digs into what's happening, not just reads you the stat sheet, go ahead and hit subscribe. We're pushing toward 100K, and this community keeps growing because we do this different. Now look, to understand why a 17th place finish at Texas carries weight, you have to understand what SVG's 2026 was supposed to look like. Coming into the season, the entire narrative was about one thing. Could he break Jeff Gordon's record of 6 consecutive road course wins? That was the storyline. That was the hype. Trackhouse had their guy, the guy who won at Chicago in his debut, the guy who won 5 straight road courses, including that dominant Roval win at Charlotte last October. And the whole idea was that 2026 would be the year he cemented himself as the greatest road course racer in NASCAR history. And then COTA happened. Second place, Tyler Reddick flat out beat him. The streak died at 5. SVG was honest about it too. Said Reddick's car was better, that he got beaten by somebody who drove a cleaner race. No excuses. But here's the thing that shifted the entire season from that moment forward. The streak ending didn't just close a chapter on road course dominance. It opened a completely different book, because suddenly the question wasn't how many road courses can SVG win in a row. The question became, can SVG actually make the chase? And that question lives and dies on ovals. Let me walk you through what this season has actually looked like when the track doesn't turn right. Atlanta, race 2. He starts 28th, dead last row, spins twice during the race, once because Kyle Larson dove across his nose fighting for third and wiped him out. Larson admitted full fault. And once on his own coming off turn 4, and after all of that, after 2 trips through the infield grass, he still charges back to 6th. Career best oval finish. He's pushing through that field like a man possessed, restarting 7th on the final overtime restart, shoving his teammate Chastain forward, running 4th at the white flag before getting squeezed in the final corner. 6th, massive points day. And then you look at what followed. Phoenix, 11th, Darlington, 14th, starting 33rd, Martinsville, 11th again, and he started 5th there, which means the speed is real. Those are the finishes that don't make YouTube thumbnails. Those are the finishes that don't generate a single headline. But those are the finishes that keep you alive on a points table. And then the floor falls out. Las Vegas, 36th. Early damage never recovered. Bristol, 34th. Kansas, 36th again. 2 races in a row where he basically scored nothing. And this is where the math starts getting brutal, because in the chase format, there's no win and you're in safety net. It's top 16 in points after race 26 period. Every single point matters. Every catastrophic weekend leaves a scar on the standings that doesn't heal easy. Talladega was a 20th survivable, but not the kind of result that closes gaps. And then Texas, 17th. He started 30th, stayed out of trouble for most of the day, was on track for 16th until Corey Heim wrecked with 11 laps to go. SVG pitted under the caution, restarted 19th, climbed 2 spots, 17th. Not dramatic, not cinematic, but here's what makes it significant. And I'll get to the specific numbers in a second. Because the picture that emerges when you zoom out from race to race and look at the full 11 race arc tells a story that's way more complicated than road course ace struggles on ovals. Here are the cold facts. After 11 races, SVG sits 19th in the Cup Series standings, 311 points behind Tyler Reddick, 27 points outside the cut line. Chase Briscoe holds that 16th spot at 242 with Joey Logano 17th and Ross Chastain 18th, his own Trackhouse teammate, just 1 point ahead of him. Think about that margin, 27 points separating SVG from playoff eligibility. That's roughly the difference between a 12th place finish and a 22nd. One decent oval run is the gap. One bad pit stop is the gap. One somebody else's wreck takes you out is the gap. And SVG knows exactly where he stands after COTA. He said it plainly, second sucks, but to get good points days, that's what I need to get into this chase. After Atlanta, he talked about how the team's whole approach this year is points accumulation, that the road courses are, in his words, like holidays, and the ovals are where the chase will be won or lost. His crew chief, Stephen Doran, has been equally blunt. After the COTA runner-up, he admitted, it burns right now not to win. But here's the part that has me genuinely conflicted, and I think a lot of fans are wrestling with this too. Is the improvement real, or is the margin just too thin? Because you can frame SVG's oval season 2 completely different ways. You can say this is a driver who had a career-best 6th at Atlanta, who ran 11th at Phoenix, 11th at Martinsville, 14th at Darlington, all legitimate results on tracks where he had no business being competitive 12 months ago. His crew chief is finding setups that work. He's collecting stage points on ovals for the first time. The adaptation is happening. Or you can say this is also the driver who went 36th at Vegas, 34th at Bristol, 36th at Kansas. 3 results in 11 races where he was essentially invisible. And when you're 19th in points with 25 races to go, you cannot afford 3 invisible weekends out of every 11. And that tension, that exact tension, is what makes this Sunday at Watkins Glen the most important race of SVG's entire NASCAR career. And I don't say that lightly. Watkins Glen is tomorrow. It's a road course. It's a track where SVG won last August, and the fantasy analysts are literally framing the weekend as Shane van Gisbergen or the field. He led 303 laps across his last 7 road course starts. He ran inside the top 5 for 84% of all road course laps in that stretch. Inside the top 10 for 95%. The guy is a cheat code when the track turns right. But even SVG himself admitted after Texas that Trackhouse's road course program isn't where it was last year. And the streak already ended at COTA. The aura of invincibility cracked. Reddick beat him clean. Christopher Bell is lurking. Chris Buescher won at the Glen in 2024. Connor Zilisch, his own rookie teammate, is undefeated in the lower series at Watkins Glen. So here's the real question. And it's the question that will define the next 4 months of this season. Shane van Gisbergen is no longer a road course curiosity who shows up on ovals and hopes for the best. He's a legitimate points contender operating on a razor-thin margin where every single weekend, the boring 17ths and the ugly 36ths and the glorious 6ths all feed into whether he crosses that cut line after race 26. This is the first chapter of his NASCAR career where being average might matter more than being spectacular, where a quiet 17th at Texas might carry more weight in September than a dominant road course win. and sitting 27 points outside the chase with Watkins Glen and 4 more road courses still on the schedule, SVG has enough road course ammunition to shoot himself back into that top 16. The question is whether the ovals between those road courses will give it all back. That's the knife's edge. That's the season. That's why I can't stop watching this. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think SVG makes the chase this year, or does the oval gap keep him on the outside looking in? I want to hear your honest take. I'll see you on the next one.